In the year 2169, no one ages past 25. But after that, you're on borrowed time, literally. A glowing clock on your forearm counts down your remaining life. When it hits 0, you drop dead. Time has replaced money. You earn it, spend it, beg for it, steal it. The poor live day to day, or minute to minute, in ghettos like Dayton, while the rich stockpile centuries in luxury time zones like New Greenwich, living forever behind guarded borders. Will Salas, a factory worker, wakes up every day racing the clock. He lives with his 50-year-old mother, Rachel, who, like everyone else, still looks 25. One night at a bar, Will sees an old man, Henry Hamilton, 105 years old, flashing over a century on his arm. Dangerous move in Dayton. He's attacked by the Minutemen, a gang of time thieves led by Fortis. Will intervenes and saves him. At a hideout, Henry tells Will the truth. There's enough time for everyone, but for a few to be immortal, many must die. Time isn't scarce, it's controlled. The rich raise prices to keep the poor dying. Population control, dressed up as capitalism. Will is shaken. That night, Henry transfers 116 years to Will as he sleeps, then times himself out, walking off a bridge with only 5 minutes on his clock. Will tries to share his fortune, giving his best friend Burrell 10 years. But just as he's about to start over, tragedy hits. His mother, short on time after a sudden bus fare hike, can't afford the ride home. She runs the route, racing the clock. Will runs to meet her, but just before they embrace, her clock hits 0. She dies in his arms. Fueled by grief and Henry's final words, Will sets out to break the system. Will crosses into New Greenwich, sleek, sterile, full of people who look young but carry centuries. It costs time just to cross time zones. That's how the rich keep the poor out. At a casino, Will plays high-stakes poker with Sylvia Weis, a billionaire time-loaning tycoon. Will risks almost all his time and wins. He catches the attention of Weis's curious daughter, Sylvia Salas, who invites him to her father's mansion. But the timekeepers, the government's elite time police, are on Will's trail. Veteran timekeeper Raymond Leon believes Will murdered Henry. At the mansion, he arrests Will, taking all but 2 hours of his time. Will escapes by taking Sylvia hostage. They're attacked by Fortis and the Minutemen again. Will is knocked out. Fortis drains Sylvia's time, leaving her with minutes to live. Will revives just in time to save her. They start bonding, and Sylvia begins to see the world beyond her privileged bubble. Will and Sylvia try to retrieve the time Will gave Burrell, only to find Burrell drank himself to death with 9 years on his clock. With little time left, they pawn Sylvia's jewelry for 2 days. Will calls Weis. 1,000 years, distributed to the people, or your daughter dies. Weis refuses. Sylvia is stunned. Her father chose the system over her. But Sylvia doesn't want to be saved anymore. There's nothing left for me in New Greenwich. Together, Will and Sylvia become outlaws. They rob time banks, hijack capsules of time, and hand it out to the poor. They become legends. The bounty on their heads? 10 years, then 50, then 100. They challenge Fortis again. This time, Will defeats him in a time fight using a trick passed down from his father, another rebel who died resisting the system. But even after all this, the system adapts. Prices rise in the ghettos. Time flows upward. The poor still suffer. Will and Sylvia break into Weis's private vault.
They steal a time capsule containing 1 million years. They flee to Dayton. With timekeeper Leon hot on their trail, Will manages to slip the capsule to a child who starts spreading time across the ghetto. Leon catches up with Will and Sylvia, gun drawn. But he's distracted. He forgot to refill his own time before the chase. His clock hits 0. He dies. Will sprints to Leon's car, grabs his stored time, and rushes back. Sylvia's clock is nearly out, again. He transfers it to her, in a moment mirroring his mother's death, but this time he makes it. The rich panic, the poor rise, factories shut down. People flood across time zones. Time is no longer hoarded. Will and Sylvia, now infamous, stand outside the largest time bank yet, gearing up for one more hit.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, hit subscribe and tap the bell icon so you don't miss our next video. See you next time.